So the big picture for this lesson is measuring translations, rotations, and reflections. So here's an example of a translation. And a translation means you're only sliding the shape around. So it's keeping the same orientation, which means it's facing the same way, and the size doesn't change. So the shape on the right is the pre-image, and that means that it's the starting shape. The shape on the left over here with the accent marks, or the primes as they're called, is the image, and that's after the transformation. So in this case, it's after the translation. And you can figure out what the translation was by counting how far each way. So I'm going to just choose one point D here, and it's left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then up 1, 2, 3. So that's a translation. Now this is an example of a reflection. It's reflected over the x-axis here. Okay, so that's a reflection. And each of these points is the same distance from the reflection line. So the distance from the x-axis to r is 2, and the same distance to r prime, it's 2. And the same applies to every single point you would pick on these triangles, same distance to the x-axis. A rotation, that's when a shape spins around a certain point. In this example, the point of rotation is point P, and it's a 90-degree rotation. Each point is moved 90 degrees, and it's actually moved counterclockwise, which means this way around. Now the shape doesn't change its size, but it does change its orientation. That's a rotation. So now I want to talk about how you use a protractor to measure an angle. First of all, you put the vertex of the angle right here at the center point. You can see the vertex here, O, is at that point. And then you put one ray at 0. And then you measure the numbers on the inside here because you're going with this 0 out. And it stops at 60, so the measure of this angle is 60 degrees. So how do you tell whether to use the numbers on the inside or the outside? You just base it on where you're starting from. If you're starting here, you're starting at 0, you're not starting at 180. And then you just go around the scale until you hit your other ray. So you're also going to be using a ruler to measure, and there are some examples of that in the lesson. So that's the big picture for this lesson.